The FDA loves to talk about its 99% approval rating, but let's just talk about cancer. 500,000 Americans get diagnosed with cancer every year, and 40% of them try to get into clinical trials. That's about 200,000 people. The vast majority of them are not allowed in. Does anyone really think that even just focusing on cancer, that only 1,000 of them try to pursue it? No, they are locked out of the system. The FDA locks them out at every stage.
Lucy, let him respond.
That's not expanded access.
Let him respond. Go ahead, doctor.
That is expanded access. That's
Dr. Eschenbach.
I think people's access to clinical trials is not the issue.
Say again, Dr. Eschenbach.
I think that I just was with a 13-year-old boy today who had osteosarcoma.
Lucy, hang on. Let him finish.
There's a lot, Lucy, there's a lot of emotion in the issue that you're putting on the table. There's no question about that. But we have to be rational and reasonable about this. The question that is at issue here is there are desperate patients who need and want access to experimental therapies. And what we need is to do that rationally and reasonably. One, to protect those patients, but also to make sure that they are getting the right thing in the right way. So it's important to have an agency like FDA that sets those kinds of principles and guidelines in place. The problem is not with the FDA. You already alluded to the fact that what happens more often is the problem rests with the sponsor, the company, the person who or whoever owns the drug not being or not willing to be able to provide that drug for those circumstances. Let's focus on that. Let's fix that problem. And this legislation does not do that.
Okay, stand by, everyone. David and then Elizabeth. David, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that one also has to remember that giving unfettered access to experimental therapeutics could potentially damage the opportunity of other patients to be able to get access to that drug when it's approved. If there are very serious side effects that are detected with experimental use of drugs, and there's a huge social media campaign around that patient getting the drug, if that patient's death is hastened, that could potentially create a firestorm that might influence FDA's approval of that drug.
Yeah, and of course, quickly, Elizabeth, go ahead.
You know, one reason why one reason why drug companies don't like to take on compassionate use patients is that if, as Art Kaplan and others have said, if something goes wrong, the FDA is going to say, wait a second, are we sure we want to approve this drug? Look what happened to this compassionate use patient. So the experts that I've talked to about this said, look, we need to get into a room together, smart people, and figure out ways that the FDA can sort of address this. The FDA has to be involved. That is what drug company executives and others have said to me.
But you can't. But you can't make companies do something.
Very well said.
That's going to have to be.
That's
going to have to be the last word.
I have to take issue.
Unfortunately.
I have to take it.
Thank you. Everybody's very passionate.